Hello everyone, no respawns here, hope you're doing well. So the time has finally upon us, and we now actually have PS4 mods. Now, rather than just doing a video where I'm like, guys, oh, we've got PS4 mods, mainly because I did one that was basic, guys, we've done a getting PS4 mods, tomorrow. I just thought I'd do my top 5 mods that I'm currently using right now. Let me preface this, as obviously will change. Maybe not even change, just, obviously these are the 5 mods I'm using right now, whether I might, get more mods and there might be better versions of the certain mods come out later down the line, but this is what's currently the top 5 that I'd recommend for building right now. So let's just jump straight into it. So the first one is Unlock Settlement Objects. Now this is the mod pretty much that I've been wanting for, well, since the dawn of time. Since mods were even a suggestion, which is, if you hadn't gathered already, this actually unlocks all of the settlement objects. Well, not all of them, actually. The mod developer did message me just to preface that this is a work in progress and more objects will be added as time goes on, obviously, because they have to manually... I don't actually know how they manually do it. I've got this image of paint and he's just manually chopping it out, but I'm assuming it's a little bit more subtle than that. However, so far what's on display is really, really, really good. So I'd recommend having a good look through the mod to look at not only just the basic tables and chairs, but also take a look in the misc sections as well. Especially the misc structure tabs has loads of items, especially not only things like cars, but also you can actually place down the complete Bunker Hill monument. There's the lighthouse from Kingsport, things that are going to be, for example, I've already got my idea of having a lighthouse, an actual lighthouse on Spectacle Island already off the bat. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. So that's really, really cool. There is a little bit of an issue with you not being able to put objects on tables. And I've got a quick little video, as you see in front of you now, of what you need to do is actually you can use the pillar to pick the object up, select all, and move the object on the table. You probably notice as well that it's a little bit more forgiving with its clipping, so you don't have to worry about the object sinking in the table slightly and it going red. If you want to have the object reach a little further, you can do it in one of 2 ways. You can basically just raise the object to the height of the table and then rug glitch a table in, or what you can do is just, using the select all glitch, just make a chain of rugs leading to the object, so you can just pick it in and then just slap it on the table. I know it's a little bit fiddly, but to be utterly honest, if you follow my building methods and are an active member of my channel, you know that, to be utterly frank, I don't really give a shit how fiddly things are. As long as the end effect is there, I'm pretty grand. So number 2 is Wild Plants and Alcohol for Settlements. Now this is quite a cool mod that I didn't realise I wanted. In the sense of, I was like, oh, I'll try that on. I'm like, wow, that's awesome. So basically what this mod does is it actually adds... First, that you can now craft all alcohol in any kind of cooking station. So you can make, bourbon, Borov's Best Moonshine, Gwinnett Ale, things like that. But then alongside that, and I think personally cooler, is the fact that this enables you to place down any plant in the foods menu, and this is really, really cool. So you can have hub flower, you can have that brain fungus stuff, you can have the little glowing fungus, and there's quite I hope they're going to add, I don't know if there are, but I hope they add a few more models in there, because obviously it's some of them, for example, they've got like 3 different kinds of brain fungus, but only like 1 different kind of hub flower, but there are still, I don't know if there are more, but anyway, hopefully they do. If not, just rotate and it looks different. But this is the mod I'm really excited for, because you're definitely going to have Davy's chem warehouse, greenhouses. It's going to be grand. And this also adds in planters as well. Those small ones we get from Grey Garden. Now, to be fair here again, as I've just mentioned in the Unlock Settlement Objects, these cannot be placed on tables. I believe it's to do with the limitations imposed by Sony. In the fact is, you need a special script to get it to snap. However, this is pretty much solved again just by getting a pillar and just kind of pillar glitching it into place. So this is pretty damn cool, and I highly recommend this one if you want just to kind of add a bit more variation to the crops. But also, I like the fact that I can now actually really get going with my chem production, especially Psycho. I'm gonna make an entire field of hub flower. It's gonna be grand. So next, number 3, is a bit of a smaller one, but it actually unlocks Raider settlement items. This was a huge thing for me for Nuka World. Those of you who haven't played Nuka World haven't got far in, but basically to summarize, if you do not side with the Raiders after a certain point, and, go ahead with the Raider quests, and instead, turn against them like I did, you lose the ability to actually have quite a few very funky-looking Raider items in terms of, things like the Raider shops, but also there is, there's this chem dispenser which produces chems every few days, and alcohol still, and also alongside that, beyond those Raider items, there is also, they've actually added in the Nuka-Cola display rack, which was actually in the coding of the game, but for whatever reason just wasn't made available. It's really cool. It's in the shelves section, and it works exactly like a, what do we call it, the bobblehead stand. So you basically just put the items on and they get placed down. So that's pretty grand. One thing to note with this is you do need the, I think it's a Wasteland Warlord perk to actually use the shops and the settlement beacon. However, because obviously you need to do, I believe you need to do the actual Wasteland Warlord stuff to do that. So I would probably need to find another mod which unlocks those perks. However, I know there are mods, for example, there's one that unlocks all of the perks. However, obviously I don't want to do that because, then I've suddenly got all of the perks and there's no sense of progression with my character. So if someone can point me to a mod that just gives you literally those 2 perks, I'd be happy as hell. Or maybe if you could just quickly whip one up, Davey will love you long time. So the 4th one now? This is Scrap Skeletons, Hedges, Mole Rat Holes, and more. Now, this mod is, for me, about 60% of what I want. And the reason why I've suggesting this, one, is because it is a good mod. It does do what you want. You can scrap all of the skeletons. I keep saying skeletons for some reason. Earlier it was ridiculous. Anyway, the skeletons. Any of the skeletons from, for example, Sanctuary, or the ones from Starlight Drive-In, the mole rat holes that you get that emerge in Red Rocket, and I believe there are some in Starlight as well. And looking at the mod here, I believe you can also scrap the hedges as well, but not the bushes from Sanctuary, as well as a few of the unscrappable trees, which I know exactly which ones they're talking about, which are near one of the entrances. So this is a cool mod. The one thing, and I did test it out, and mod creators, especially 3Elric, who is the main creator here, I want you to just let me know if this is a possibility, because what I really, really want is hopefully an updated version of this one, which enables me to scrap the ghoul corpses and named settler corpses from my settlements. I'm talking the dead settler in Kingsport, the dead lady settler named ones in not only Taffington Boathouse, but also Spectacle Island. I'm talking about the ghoul corpses. Now, those of you, people commenting, going, oh, but you can move them, or you can chop them up. These corpses are scripted to be there, so basically they always come back. For example, those of you who remember back when I did my Croup Manor video, I tried getting the ghoul corpses out of Croup Manor, and they came back within about, I think it was maybe about a week of in-game days, and they basically spawn exactly in the same position. And if you try and chop them up, because I've tried this before, what ends up happening is the bodies will spawn back in the exact same position, but they will be then chopped up, and they just look a little bit ridiculous. I had quite an entertaining moment where I blew up one of the settlers' heads, and he spawned back with basically his brain bits scrunched in. It was very weird. I don't know if this is possible with the limitations on Sony. I hope it is. There's some way around it, because this is kind of not make or break for me with a few settlements, but it kind of is. For example, I mean, there are mods, for example, that just completely scrap everything in the settlements, which is what we may have to do. One that just basically just manually does it rather than, and then it just wipes over the settlement rather than necessarily giving the option to manually do it yourself. I don't know. Also, alongside that as well, if you could make it so I could scrap things like the brain fungus from Taffington, that would be grand as well, just because it's really, really annoying to have that disgusting brain fungus. It's really gross. I don't like it. Just saying. And also maybe get rid of leaves as well. But hopefully that's a coming. So that's a good mod anyway, because it definitely does what you want in terms of scrapping those irritating skeletons. And the fifth, but by no means final mod is called Freemaker. Now, this comes in various different versions. I have if you have basically all the DLC, get the Season Pass version. Obviously, you don't literally need to have bought the Season Pass. I didn't, but that's the version I've got because I have all the DLC. It's called Freemaker Ultimate PS4 Cheat Compilation. If you don't, and say, for example, you only have half the DLC, you need to get the base version and then the DLC specific version. Now, as I mentioned before, I'm not a big fan of mods which make me feel like I'm cheating, and obviously this is quite a brazen cheating mod. Now, the reason for this, specifically with settlement building, it's just basically have to use your own willpower and not abusing it, but this enables you to craft every single junk. Well, it actually does. Don't think that's completely true. The mod developer has messaged me about a couple of their mods going, I am obviously going to be adding things as they go, but you can, I think, craft most misc junk items, and this is great for decoration. For example, I was scrolling through the list and there are the distress pulsers that is so easily to scrap from the Brotherhood of Steel quest when you first meet them, and being able to actually to actually make those things and actually specifically find an item you want to decorate your settlement is absolutely fantastic. I'm really liking this mod, just for the fact is, they don't use any resources. So again, if you don't want to feel like you're cheating, I mean, I've pretty much played the game loads, so I'd be careful, but if you want to specifically look for decorative items, this is the best one for it. It is obviously, because it uses the chemistry station, it can be a little bit awkward, shall we say, in terms of maybe specifically finding that particular item. But say, for example, if you're looking for clean versions of things, or new toy cars, it's really, really cool. Gnomes, if you want gnomes, for example, garden gnomes are quite cool, stuff like that. So it's definitely a useful mod if you want to actually theme your decoration, spend a little bit longer. But again, if you're like me, just be careful, because I'm always, just for me, it was mentally in the back of my mind, I just kind of feel like, oh god, I've cheated now, I can't enjoy what I'm doing anymore. For example, this mod actually enables you to build the frames for power armor, which is admittedly quite cool, but, just careful if you don't, like me, you don't feel like you want to abuse it. Anyway, I hope you guys found my top 5 list interesting. Let me know if there are any mods available, which I haven't mentioned. Obviously, definitely are mods I haven't mentioned, but mods that you think I would like, definitely let me know in the comments. I will be doing, probably tomorrow, a mods wish list. I have briefly mentioned in this video right now, kind of like additions and tweaks to the mods that I would like, but there are quite a few mods which just aren't available yet. Some I'm pretty sure it's because Sony's limitations won't let me actually have them, but a couple of them I just think people haven't gotten around to making them, or I just personally haven't found them. As always, follow me on Twitter at norespawns. I want to see what I'm up to. Send me pictures, send me love, send me hate, and then I mute you, it's fine. And anyway, I'll talk to you lovely people soon. You take care.